Hello, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I'm Becca. Hi there. So today I am going to be doing a little Sims build. I took my time with this one. I have like over 11 hours of footage on this house. It is a huge house. I kind of planned this to be a family home with it was supposed to be like a back garden, but I decided to put like two side gardens instead in the house. I'll be showing that later on, but mostly my idea was this huge family home with two gardens and a little place for just to plant and maybe like some bee boxes, because if you guys don't know, I love the seasons, like Sims 4 seasons. It's one of my favorite expansion packs, and I had recently bought it, so I went crazy with the bees. I really love playing with the bees, and I've literally managed to find out what I need to do to calm down my bees. So I just have to interact with them a little longer, so that's technically what I've been doing in another saved file. But when it comes to this build, I wanted it to have like two stories, but I ended up making it three in a certain way. I didn't end up making it three because I wanted to have a little area so they could have like family dinners, and making it pretty and just very comfy, not only for the Sims but for you guys playing. So I really decided to go all out on this, especially when it came to the roofing. I had a lot of fun roofing this house. I didn't really have a creative, like an inspiration or an inspirational photo that like I based this off. I just wanted to try out a house that I had in my imagination, and this is technically what I came up with, and it's something that I would actually love to live in because it's a really big family home. It has 3 rooms. There are 2 bathrooms on top and one in the bottom area, in the like closer to the living area. So I actually planned it out, even though I did have a really hard time trying to figure out how I was going to place the flooring of this house. Not only that, but also where I was going to put the staircase to lead to the rooftop. And I wanted it to look really I wanted it to look part of the house and just not weird, in a weird way. So I took my time to figure that part out, but in the end I did actually end up figuring it out, and it actually did wind up looking the way I planned it, so I was actually pretty happy about that. When it comes to the garden and me just laying out all of the flooring, well, I forgot the word again. The landscaping there, I remembered. When it comes to like laying out the landscaping, I kind of took my time with this because I actually wanted it to have like loads of plants, and I wanted it to literally feel like there was a family in this house. I have like my 2 Sims here that are currently living in this house. It's just them for now, but their aspirations are to have a big family. So I will probably try to make like a legacy challenge, like a family legacy challenge with this one, and literally live out these Sims lives and actually have a really big family. And I actually really enjoy that. I actually tried doing a very crazy corridor moment in this house as well. I did work on the floor planning a little bit into the house before I worked on the outside, like putting the landscape and everything, mostly because I didn't really feel up to the whole going into it after I landscaped everything and having to figure out too much of what I wanted to do inside the house. So I normally love to do that. Like the only thing I would normally do like afterwards on the top part of the house, I normally do change it a lot. I take those little windows out of there because that's where I was actually going to place a bathroom. I changed that and I actually placed a room there, so I actually do a little mix afterwards. But besides that, I really enjoyed building this house. I am actually building a lot of houses in Windenburg because it's literally kind of, I don't know why. I just love Windenburg for some reason, and most of the houses that I've built so far are all there. The plants at this moment, they kind of look withered and dead and everything because I was playing during this the spring and the plants weren't really looking up to it, so I do end up coming back into the game later on, as you can see like right now, and everything is shiny and it looks alive. So yeah, sorry guys, I forgot about that. So I did have to literally go into build mode without my Sims to make sure that everything was perfectly placed. And now I'm just working on the landscaping, and I enjoyed this landscaping. I took my time doing this landscaping because I wanted this to look like it was fully worked out. I wanted it to look like a family lived here and there are so many pretty plants and that everything is just perfectly placed, and the neighbors could walk past and just be like, wow, this is a beautiful home. That's technically what I wanted to do with this house, and I actually achieved it. I actually end up having to take down one of the options in my reshade because I don't know why, it was making me a bit nauseous for some reason, so I ended up taking it out. So you guys will see that later on, the harsher shadows that look really pretty. It does disappear a little bit, but I kind of work better with it, so I'm sorry about that. But either way, it still ended up being such a beautiful house with so much detail, and I wanted it to be so homey and so just well lived. And as you guys have noticed, when I build homes, even if it's the tiny houses that I don't really like, tiny houses personally, excuse me, personally I don't really like tiny houses, not because I don't know, I wouldn't live in one in real life because I like space and I really like place to clutter my things and have everything organized, and I think I would go crazy if I lived in such a small house. But when it comes to The Sims, I actually don't mind creating tiny homes. I kind of think it's cute and everything, especially the last house that I lived. It was actually a very small house and I really enjoyed it. I actually do have a Sim that's living there. She is a secret agent and she has a very, very temperamental, yeah, she has a real temper that she went and she got an angry poop. But anyway, going back to the house, I did add a bee box. As I said, I really enjoy bee boxes, and I really do encourage you, if you are gonna have bees in The Sims, please cover them. Please place them somewhere covered, especially because we have a lot of thunderstorms here, and if you do not cover your Sims bee boxes or even some other things, it could potentially get hit, be struck by lightning, and you're just gonna end up wasting money on the game because you're gonna have to get everything back into, just gonna have to rebuy everything. So covering it up is really pretty. That's why when I went to the rooftop, I actually ended up covering it up because I really wanted everything to look safe and not crazy. So I really did that part. Right here, I'm actually working on the rooftop of this house, and I wanted it a place to a family gathering, or maybe even, it doesn't even have to be a family gathering. It could just literally be friends coming over for a barbecue. and I really wanted it to have life into this, so I actually took a little bit of my time to figure out like lighting and what I wanted to do around, like put around everything. I do end up putting, I think I also did this in another build that I did, and then the house is also in Windenburg, where I put the wall like in between the grill, so it actually kind of looks like it's actually an inbuilt grill, and it's safer because I also add in the side of the wall, I add like a little fire. I do always add a little, I have to have the little fire alarm everywhere because you know this thing is gonna kill your sim, and it's crazy. So I do end up adding it there. I do also make sure to not put a sink, nor do I potentially ever in my life leave any of those balconies up there opened, because if you play this game as long as I do, you know that they're going to use that sink to wash the dishes. And I just wish they would fix that, because it's so annoying to see your Sims get up. Instead of going to the kitchen and wash the dishes, they take it and they wash the dishes in the bathroom. Or if you place a sink like I didn't do for this one, but I do have another build that I did actually place the sink in the back garden. They use that one instead of the kitchen, so don't add sinks there. Just make it pretty and cover up all of the balconies, or else they'll use that to clean. Here I am just starting to clutter up everything around the house. I really love the landscaping of this house. I think I did such a good job, especially in the opening. I'm so sorry. I normally record this while I watch everything going, and just looking at this landscaping just makes me so happy because it's so pretty. But either way, whilst I was doing this opening, I wanted there to be like a little open hallway before you actually get into the house. So like, you know, you have guests, they come in or they can wait in the, would it be called a foyer? I think this is the foyer, isn't it? Like I probably pronounced it wrong, but yes. And I had a little extra room in this side, which is where I did an office space. I was actually going to add the bathroom like right in this little corner, but I decided to make it into a little office. I also use that hidden bookshelf that we have, that little door that's a hidden bookshelf, so it actually looks like, oh, you know, it's just a bookshelf, but it actually leads into this office, and I actually wanted to do that. And I actually cluttered this in a very homey, I cluttered it in a very homey way. Normally that's technically what I do, for the simple fact that I kind of imagine myself living in most of these houses, though it's weird because when I do smaller homes, I don't really imagine myself living there, but I still like to make it homey as possible because I know that there are a lot of people who like smaller houses and stuff like that. But this one, I wanted it to go like way off on a lot of things. I did a lot of details, especially in this office. I wanted it to be cozy. I wanted to think of it like a little home office. Maybe like this family owns like a family business, and you know, like they do everything from the home office, and you know, they just want the best for like their future, than like their future generations. So that's technically what I was going with when I built this home. When I started building the living area, I had like a few altercations here because I wanted there to be a pet in this house. I do end up adding like little pet stuffs later on for this entire build, but I ended up adding it a little later on, like when I start building the upstairs. I do add a little cat. I don't know why I have been building so many like things with cats, lately. I don't know why. I love cats. I think they're so adorable, and I just wanted to just go crazy. And I enjoyed just adding some little cat things here and there. And I normally add it in the kids' bedroom, like I put the little mattress so they can sleep, the little beds there. But this time I decided to do it differently. What I did was I kind of imagined like they had this cat like before they had their kids. So the cat is mostly attached to the parents more than they are the kids. So like the cat tends to sleep around like the parents' room, like they feel comfier and better whilst like in the presence of the parents, even though like they know that these are their owner's kids and everything, because animals know, our pets know. So I just decided to do it something like that. That's technically the idea I had. Like they bought this house, they started saving up and making sure that they had enough financial stability to have not only a pet but also have the responsibility to own a cute little animal. So that's what I decided to do. That little thing on the wall, before I continue along with mostly what I was planning for, I do take a little thing that I put on the wall because it was custom content, and I promised myself that I was not going to use custom content on this build, and I did not use it. I do end up removing it later, so don't worry about it. This is an entire custom content free home. Normally, if I decide to build a house with closets and something more, then I do kind of take the courtesy of building the houses with custom content, but I didn't. But moving on to what I was saying, like going back to what I was saying, I did add a cat. I do add like a little bowl for them later on. I did this house in the style that I have been doing in the other ones. I really like this whole counter thing in the middle as well, so they can sit down and have breakfast. I normally add like more chairs, but since like this kitchen was a little compact, it was a little smaller than the kitchens that I'm normally used to. Okay, it's not a small kitchen, but for the kitchens that I like to bake, I normally have like 3 chairs for the counter so you can sit there and have breakfast and everything. I decided to go with 2, and I also always have a dining area in the house. I must have a dining area in the house. It's just brilliant to sit down and just eat your dinner with the family. It's a tradition. I don't know if you guys also have that, but we used to have that. My mom, she used to love doing that, like when it was time for lunch or dinner, it was a literal religion. We took everything and we sat down in the dinner table. So the dinner area is literally always going to be a part of my life, except on smaller homes where I simply cannot add a table there, then it won't. But besides that, I will always have something to do when it comes to this. But when it came to this house, I don't know, I felt really attached to it. I took a little while to do this because I actually built like 2 houses before I finished furnishing this entire house. Literally, I built the bee farm, which you guys can see in my channel. I also built the other 1-bedroom house that was so cute as well. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was such a cute house for me to build. It was so adorable. And now I finished this one and I'm already starting to refurnish a little apartment, and I actually do want to get into making a little townhouses actually, because of the new expansion pack that's coming out. And I have been literally saving so I could buy a new expansion pack, and I think if this this pack comes out and it's everything everyone's saying it's gonna be, I'm probably going to buy that one before I buy Cottage Living. Because I really enjoyed it. It looked really pretty. But getting back to this house, the furnishing, it's just something I just love doing. I don't know, I just really like to make everything a bit cluttered, because I don't know, if you walk into a house and there's not a lot of clutter and it's sometimes it doesn't feel like the person, like there's someone who actually lives there. Because you can live in a house, but if you don't have that little thing that makes it homey for you, like, oh, why did you place all of this here? It's mostly you have a story or you have a vision of why you placed all of that there, and this is technically what I did to this house. I had my storyline of where I wanted this house to be, and I even did like differently. I normally make like a boys room and a girls room, or just like a girls room, or vice versa. This time I decided to go with very neutral tones for like everything when it came to the walls, so when my Sims actually have their kids, then I'll know what gender they are, so I will be able to literally color the rooms properly. Or maybe I'll just leave it like that, because honestly I really don't care. As long as it's pretty, I don't really care what the color the walls are, to be honest. And I really decorated this as in something that I would decorate my home with, so I was very happy. I normally only show building one of the bathrooms, but I decided to show both because I do add another door here that leads to the other bathroom on the other side. When it comes to this part, there's something I did do differently. I actually made one of the rooms, I furnished this room after I built the second bathroom on the top. I furnished this bedroom because I always forget, before I get to the bedroom, because I always forget to put a proper laundry room, and I had already built everything and I didn't want to delete anything because I really like this build. I need to write down the next time I build my house, another house, to have a proper laundry room. I will probably forget, but I'll try not to. But either way, I do end up changing this room to the other room because I was kind of thinking about this for a while, and I didn't really see the logic in, because I built a kid's room and I just built like another normal room, which would be, let's say, like a teenager's room, especially if the kid, like if they have like one kid at a time and it doesn't have like twins or something. And I don't really feel comfortable with having a kid with a balcony with a balcony room. I don't think I would sleep. And I know it's The Sims and you kind of feel like very safe here, but I like to play this game if I lived in a bit of a reality, like in today's reality. I would not feel safe having a child with a balcony. So I decided to move that up later on, and I changed the room where I have the kids' room, and I added it to, I changed it like to the, I just changed the rooms. My mind went bah. I do not use these bunk beds. I love the bunk beds for all different reasons, but I don't use this bunk bed at all. I change it, I put in like a normal bed. And something that I really noticed that I love doing is not placing a computer in the kids' room, because normally they bring back homework and I didn't want the computer to be in the way, or them to have to go like downstairs or go into some other room to do their homework. So I normally don't add a computer there, just so they can actually do their homework. and their parents can just go in and see what's going on and everything. So I actually thought that was actually pretty cool, because technically that's normally how I used to do my homework. The only way that, like, where I can remember when I was a kid, the only time that I did my homework in like the living room was when I had no clue what I had to do, or like my mom just wanted to make sure that I was actually studying for an exam. I always studied for my exam. I was a very good student, so even when I didn't study, I still passed. But anyway, that is a story for another time. So this is when I decided to add like more kids things here, and I went crazy with the kids room. I really like children, so I just decided to go crazy making this kids room. I imagined like what I would do, like if I had a kid, like how would I design this entire bedroom. I would go crazy. There would be so many toys, so many things, you know, just making very comfortable, very homey, spacious for the kid to grow up. And that's technically what I did. On these ones, once again, I did add the curtains, but I added them off camera. So I'm sorry for that. Curtains are all added off camera because I forgot to record it. Because when I went back in to take the photos, I kind of saw that I forgot to put the curtains in again. Sorry. I actually even did the balcony of this house, like the first one here, for one of the kids' maybe bedroom. It's definitely one of the kids' bedroom. I decided to just make it all neutral. I don't know what's wrong with my voice, but anyway, I decided to just make everything all neutral. And when I came in to actually do the parents' room, I actually added a little vanity mirror there because I really wanted to. It's something that I would have in my room, you know, just having all my makeup and all my just everything that I would definitely use of my everyday. And I added another table here, but I did not add the computer because I wanted it to have a little open, like an open space. Maybe it's just a place that like one of the Sims comes and just likes to write down a little when the other Sim is just like they're working and everything. So that's technically what I decided to do. We're practically at the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching once more. Thank you for all the support. I will be back later on this week with another video, hopefully, if I finish recording it. Well, if I finish editing it. And thank you guys so much. Have a great day whenever you're watching this. Well, day, morning, evening, year, month, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.